Yeah, speaking of moves, I was watching New Japan last Friday, and there was a move that I seen. It was the Phoenix Bomb or something like that, where uh, I forget the guy's name. Was like I forget
who does it,
but the guy was wrestling Ricochet, and he picks him up like a power bomb, and I thought, oh, he's in a power bomb, picks him up, but you know how but instead of power bombing him when he picked him up, he held his head and picked him up like, okay, think of it as like a reverse muscle buster kind of. So instead of picking him up, having his head here and his legs held like this, think of it as that same position, but in a power bomb. And so instead of power bombing him, he went back like a Northern Light suplex. And I was like, I'm sitting there, that was at my aunt's house, and I had time to kill. Like sitting there, like, oh, he's a power bomb. And all of a sudden he picks one, like, all of a sudden he went back, and was like, whoa, what was that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like awesome. I've never seen that, but I was like, hey, props to you for doing that.
Right. I mean, I can't imagine someone able to do that, like different moves at the same time on two different people.
Right. I don't know, but yeah, I hope WWE doesn't screw with Samoa Joe, because, I mean, I just hope they don't change anything about him, but, like, I guess him and Tyson Kidd wrestled before, what was it, SmackDown taping last night, maybe? Or something like that, but he's for Raw. I don't know, it was here within the last day or so, and they don't know if it's going to air on Superstars or not, but they, where's that thought going?
You need a smack you to help you remember?
No, that still probably wouldn't help. But I forget where that thought was going. But no, they're gonna. As far as I know, they're gonna let Samoa Joe finish out all of his contractual. Like, if you say, like, now if I hired you for my wrestling company, but yet other companies, say Ring of Honor, TNA, say they have you for 10 dates. So say 5 weeks. So 5 for TNA, 5 for Ring of Honor, and say I'm WWE. Now, if I'm bringing you in, you're contractually obligated to the other two companies. So if I want, I can let you work those 10 dates because you had them before you signed with me. So from what I've seen, they're gonna let him do his dates, right?
So to let him finish up his contract before he shipped here. So
right, screwed him over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was went to my mom's a couple days. Tuesday, I think it was. And I was messing with her iPad. And
so which day was it?
One of those days. I think it was Tuesday. I got on Amazon. I was like, what? I was like, well, what can I look up just for something to do? And so I have a copy of Mind Games, which you know that.
Yeah.
It's like $700 on Amazon right now. Then I have a copy of Best of WWF Volume 5. It came out in like 86. That's going for almost $60 on Amazon.
Damn.
And I have the Villains, the Squared Circle. That was going for like the same amount. Yeah. Then I have the 2 copies of Mania 24 Blu-ray. Those are going for like $60-some on like eBay. There's basically $120 there. So basically, almost like $900 I have in just like 5 or 6 videos.
Damn.
But
Have you heard of this?
no.
Kind of fun, but the problem is the like the actual like game to it, like the songs and shit. There's like a weird ass song to it.
But then like I'll just sit down like randomly look stuff up like on Amazon just see how much stuff's going for. But yeah, I've got an autographed Greg Valentine action figure. It's worth like just the action figure itself online was worth what was it like $39.99 something like that. But I mean my mom she always says I'll go get a DVD or something. She'll go. You think after all those you have, you think you'd have them all by now. Like,
I wish.
As I was thinking earlier, it's like, if I was like a millionaire, I wouldn't necessarily buy like, anything like extravagant. You know what I'd probably do? Put money on a card and just like buy wrestling stuff off of like eBay and Amazon and shit like that. And like other wrestling websites and have just like this one massive, room of like wrestling like movies and stuff like that. It'd be kind of cool.
What?
To have, like, to get like one of the projectors and have like a big like party and like project like the movie, like go outside and like project like the movie on like a big screen or something like that.
You keep it on the wall, I think.
Yeah, I know, but it'd be kind of cool if it was like tie like like in my front yard, like I have the tree over here, get like a big screen, just tie it and like project it on there, just watch like a movie or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
But yeah, I figured, I'll probably never get what I want out of them, but if I ever sold my wrestling DVDs and stuff, I pretty much have like a little gold mine, it's just like, $3 million and it's yours. You're out of your mind. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep it. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Especially where like a few of them are actually worth something nowadays, and then
some are out of print.
Some are out of print, and then they're still in their original packaging, not opened.
But yeah, it's like at first it was like, do I want to open the Mania Blu-ray and keep the other one sealed, or keep them both sealed? And it's like, keep them sealed.
Keep both of them sealed.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, could buy a third one, which is like a regular DVD or another.
Well, I have the DVD version of WrestleMania 24, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just my luck. It'd be one thing if it was already opened, I'd throw it in just to see what's all different about it, between the DVD and Blu-ray, but it's like my luck. I open it, it's worth $60 some bucks. Open it. No sooner tear it open, like, all right, tear the packaging open, worth $3 million. What the? Get some tape. No one knows about this. No, yeah, that'd be my luck. I get something like that, open it, $3 million. So now it's worth $3 million. Well, I just opened it, that much. How much you pay for it? 75 cents. For the quarter now. Fuck. That would be my luck.
Seeing how that almost happened to you before, I don't blame you.
On what?
At the pawn shop, those 2 or 3 discs, and you only got it for one. The price of one.
Oh, yeah. No, but I mean, if you go to a pawn shop, you'll have some luck once in a while finding something decent. Like, you know where I found my games at?
Goodwill.
Yeah. You know how much I paid for it? Well, you know how much my mom paid for it?
75 cents.
Yeah. It's kind of a
giveaway there.
Kind of just like, I don't know, then and see FYE, I don't think they knew what they had either because it's like, oh, and I also got Royal Rumble 2010 Blu-ray. Forgot about that. I thought I had another purchase in there.
I think you told me that there should be another purchase in there. I just don't know where it is.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten 10 or 11. I've probably got about 10 newer ones here recently. Yeah, I bought Mania, Rumble, and stuff like that. So
at least we know what caused it to go blue screen earlier.
Yeah.
Just didn't have the connection right.
Right.
Like I said, it's not my laptop, because like earlier I had it on my own and it didn't do anything like that. So, and then like I moved it around and like, hey, a little better. Nothing there, so we tried there.
Question.
What?
I mean, I know that like you got your laptop wet and everything, but you know how like on HD shows they have the bar at the bottom of the screen?
Yeah.
Is that like super sideways HD?
I think so.
Can we call it that?
Yeah, why?
I don't know. I just seen that and it just makes me laugh because it's like you have like out of a whole screen you have like that much of a screen now. And you can see it. It's like super HD.
Super side HD.
Yeah.
Like it's like freaking rectangle.
Yeah.
That's flat.
Into a screen.
And then like you got like that little section of it.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, yeah, if I could put it sideways, I could probably see better.
Speaking of like other stuff I also just recently got a card of Axe and Smash from Demolition. It's autographed by Axe of Demolition.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty good. That was pretty funny.
No, let's see. I've got a shoot interview from Raven and Axel Rotten, and then I've got the Jim Cornette and Percy Pringle, and I've got the shoot interview with Tommy Young, who's was a referee for the NWA, and so that wasn't a flirt with my shoot. So was that.
Not like earlier, while we were on break.
What was it? Today I walked in we went to the store. We went to Walmart. I was taking something out of a bag and I walked back like that and farted. And she goes, "Could you have waited?" And actually, no, I couldn't have. I could have. I just didn't want
to. Nice.
But anyways, Tommy Young is he was a referee in the NWA, and he was telling a story. People were he was telling stories about Ric Flair and Rick Steamboat. And he goes, and someone had asked a question. He's like, you know how you have websites where it was similar to the site where like you'll have like girls on it or whatever you have. But like, have you seen the sites where people like will go on there, like, I don't know if it's Stickgam or whatever it's called or something like that, but you'll have say like our podcast now we're doing the video, but then you have like a little chat room over here, people talking about whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I take it was something similar to that because they'd say, all right, well, they have people call in and they go, all right, well, this is from our chat room, and someone had asked Tommy Young, well, what was the question was something along the lines of what was the furthest extent you've seen someone to go to protect the business? And he goes, well, what he's like Rick Steamboat, Ric Flair, and I think they're Snapmare Takeover. Ric Flair hit the ground, right? So he's basically in a sitting position. The Steamboat came up behind him, or Steamboat was behind him having like a headlock. And Tommy Young goes, yeah. He goes, I leaned down. Like, you smell this god-awful smell. He's like, all right, who farted? And he goes, he said, Ric Flair goes, I shit my trunks. And he said, Steamboat's back there. He goes, shakes his head. And he's like, yeah. He's like, by this time, the smell's like protruding all the way to like the front row. He's like, and after that, they went like another 8 minutes, 7, 8 minutes, something like that. So it was like, pooped his pants, but he kept going. He's like, I mean, they couldn't go home means in the match, you have 2 minutes to go home in the match between now and the next 2 minutes. And he's like, when someone said you're going 30 minutes, you couldn't just be out there 5 minutes, oh, hey, go home, 1, 2, 3 in the match. You had to go as close as possible, though, me saying go 30 minutes. You go 28 minutes, not going to say anything. Go 2 minutes, get your ass out of here,
Mm-hmm. That would suck, though, like going that far, that long.
Yeah.
With poop in your trunks.
Right. Then the thing is in.
I mean, can you imagine if, I believe his trunks were like the underwear shaped one, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they managed somehow like come out of it and they were like,
he should have said. In one is an old SmackDown magazine from like 04 or 05, something like that. And and the old WWE magazines, what they would do is like at the very back, it would be like Tales from the Turnbuckle. Someone would write into a wrestler say if someone wrote into like Kane before like 97, 98 Kane before he talked and Paul Bearer was his manager.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Kane going out there and replying, it'd be like Paul Bearer. He would say something like, "Here, let me take this," right. And he replied to whatever the question was. And it was something similar to that, but it was one of the Basham brothers. And I think the question was something like, what was like the funniest thing that has happened to you in the ring? And one of them said, yeah, it was when, I think Doug or Danny pooped his pants in the ring. Yeah, in the middle of a match, he pooped in the ring, and he said the one that pooped himself went to tag out, but the one on the apron wouldn't tag him in. So whenever it kept him in the match, and he's like, you kept getting the sunset flipped and knocked moves that would cause him to land on his butt, like whether it be slams, snap mirror takeovers, hip tosses. He said, and basically every move that was like that happened to him just because they knew he pooped his pants.
So they were basically messing with him.
Yeah.
That would suck so bad.
No, I mean, it's just kind of comical. It'd be like me saying, I pooped my pants, you can't kick me in the butt or something.
Yeah.
Dude, I pooped my pants. Oh, yeah, I know,
Right. What did you do that for? I'm just being a dick. Right?
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know, I find stories like that funny. Like, there was one, during that Percy Pringle and Jim Cornette shoot interview, Jerry Lawler once got his crown pooped in.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're telling jokes or stories about ribs and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah. He's like, do you know who pooped in Lawler's crown? He's like, no. He's like, Steve Kearney. And Paul Bearer goes, you know who the lookout guy was? He goes, I was.
So he actually admitted he was the lookout guy.
Yeah.
Oh, what a dumbass. Then again, he was being a jerk.
But I probably it's like, I won't say his name, but one of my neighbor's kids. Like, it's just funny. Like, I'll tell him a story, then he'll go, "Yeah, you told me this. How many times you told me this story?" Oh, but I mean, I probably mentioned this on another podcast. But there's one story that it's kind of funny that
you kind of mentioned it a couple of times.
Paul Bearer said during that shooting interview with Jim Cornette, where Sonny, Tammy Sitch, she's doing porn now, by the way. I expected a reaction, but instead of just staring off into the screen. But anyways,
my reaction was this: what?
But no, she's doing porn now. But anyways, I guess Tammy, or Sonny, I should say, and Paul Bear, I guess, like didn't like each other. And he's like, and he said, we hated each other. He's like, now, we've gotten past that, but now he's like, I don't feel that way about her anymore. And so he's like, yeah, something, and I guess I've heard stories where she cheated on Chris Candido. It's one of those things where it's like everyone knew but him. And so he's like, yeah, he was walking by catering, I think it was, or somewhere where there's a door, and so he's like, he walks by, he says, and the door's open a little bit. He says he sees Candido over here, and sees Sonny over here. He looks in, he looks at Chris, and he said he found a broom over in the corner. He goes, hey Chris, he goes, here's your wife's ride home. Throws a broom at him. And he's like, yeah, he said that Candido like threw lawn equipment and stuff like everywhere. So then he goes, yeah. He's like, then Undertaker got in this Halliburton briefcase. And it was destroyed, or ended up getting ruined. And he thought that Candido and Sonny had done it. And so they were on like a toll booth. And Bear's like, yeah, I was riding with Kane. And he's like, when I was riding with them, I look over and guess who's next to us at the toll booth? And he's like, Candido and Sonny. And he's like, I could have rolled down my window, but Kane hit the window lock button, so it wouldn't go down. And so he said that Candido and Sonny look over, and Paul Bear goes, yeah, and I'm sitting there going, just sitting there flipping him off, and they're looking over at me like, well, what in the world what's up with that? And he's like, I thought they're the ones who messed with my briefcase. And he's like, and come to find out it wasn't. And he's like, well, and Cornette goes, he's like, he pretty much says, I remember that, but I almost thought it wasn't, that you were being set up, because when they done that, whoever done it thought, you'd instantly think it was Sonny and that you could kill her. I mean, he didn't mean to kill her literally, but like just go off on her.
Right.
And he's like, I found out later it was the Smoking Guns, because he thought that the Guns thought Bear done something to their stuff, but it turns out it was the Smoking Guns that done it. Yeah. So then, why the hell did I do that?
I don't know.
But yeah, some of the stories on there are funny. He's like, who was it? It was and he said, and Bear was talking about the Undertaker. He's like, you'll never guess what the Undertaker hates.
What?
Cucumbers.
What?
Yeah, he's like, really? A cucumber? He's like, yeah. He's like, he despises them. And he's like, well, what do you mean despises them? He's like, well, he'll literally throw up. And he's like, well, what? He's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, Undertaker would be in there getting ready for a match or something. And then when you get to put on that purple or gray glove, there'd be something in it, take it off, cucumber falls out, will start throwing up. Said you'll be at a Waffle House, Undertaker goes to the bathroom, Undertaker comes back, and guess what's floating in his drink? Cute piece of cucumber. He's like, he doesn't like cucumber? He's like, no. He's like, why? He's like, why? Like, what made him not to like him? He's like, well, he's like, I don't know. I guess his mom made him eat it when he was a kid. Then after that, he just like doesn't like him.
That can happen, actually.
What are other sort? Oh, then he's like, back at SummerSlam '94, they had the Undertaker versus the Undertaker.
Oh yeah.
And it was $1 million Man's Undertaker versus Paul Bearer's Undertaker. Well, the $1 million Man's Undertaker was Brian Lee, who wrestled in ECW, and he done well. For those of you who don't know who Brian Lee was, if you look up the scaffold match between Tommy Dreamer and Brian Lee, that's the Brian Lee that done the scaffold match. And
so he's roughly about his size.
Yeah, and I think he was also part of the DOA and WWF. And so they brought in Brian Lee to be Undertaker, and he's like, yeah. Then down in like Tennessee, after that, I guess Brian Lee was telling people he was the Undertaker. I mean, I guess in a way he was for that one night. He was the imposter Undertaker, but he got arrested and said that he was the WWF's Undertaker. So in like on the news it said like WWF's Undertaker was arrested. It's like, yeah, nice move. It's like nice going.
Yeah, what an idiot.
But yeah, I mean, just stories like that I love hearing. I mean, I find it funny.
Yeah. Just like hilarious.
Yeah. Then there was one that he was saying. I think it might have been when he was with Midnight Express. They were down. Or no, there was one. I'll tell you that story. But there was another one about the Undertaker. Undertaker was driving with Cornette and someone else and a couple other guys. And I guess Cornette doesn't like bugs of any kind. Mm-hmm. They said they were down like Alabama or Mississippi or somewhere like that. And they said something. One of them had found like a big bug that was in like a shell.
Oh yeah.
And he said that they got back into. They stopped at like a gas station. They got back into the car.
Sorry.
When they got back into the car, that Cornette was sitting there, and he goes, and someone goes, "Jim, there's a big bug on your shoulder." He's like, "Guys, you're not going to get me." He's like, "No, we're serious." He said he looks over his shoulder, and it was just sitting right there, and all of a sudden, he starts freaking out, and he's trying to get the door open, and he said that before it was all said and done, that the door wouldn't open. He was kicking it so hard that he bent something before the door wouldn't open. And I guess Undertaker sent back there, he's like, you guys always do this? Like, yeah. Then there was one story, he said that,
yeah, you did. You hit the...
I guess there's a VGA cable in here.
You, undid it.
We have some difficulty here. You know the way the view is now? I bet you always knew I was crazy, but now you can see my nuts. First you can see all my nuts. Well, we're still going here. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's the main thing. That's all we really care about.
Yeah. Good. We're making a rule from now on.
What's that?
When we do podcasts, we don't fuck with anything. We don't do anything. We do podcasts, and that's it. Had some difficulty there.
Actually, you're the one that hit your foot against the cable.
I didn't hit the cable.
You sure?
I'm sure. It did, because you were messing with it and it went blue. Or you were messing with the mouse. That's why.
Why?
This is like lopsided.
Lopsided?
Yes. Wow. Yes. So they telling stories and fixing the monitor. It's back on yet?
Nope. Yeah, you got a point there. Dad, you're good.
You good? We're good. Yeah. But anyways, okay, we're good now. Hey, have a little brighter here. Anyways, but anyways, what story was I saying?
It might as well be part of the podcast because it's too late for us to do it all over again.
Yeah, I'm not. Screw it. What story was I saying?
Don't remember, to be honest.
Okay, I was just gonna tell him the story about the bug.
Yes, you were getting.
And there was another one. I think it was Cornet and the Midnight Express. And they just got done reading a book about someone getting arrested. And they're like, yeah, well, he's like, yeah, where this happened at. He's like, I bet this happened, right about in this area. And he's like, right there's a courthouse where, the people walked out of. And he's like, yeah. And all of a sudden he's like, yeah, but and he starts telling the story. But basically the punchline of the story is Jim Cornette gets his fingers like this, and he goes, bam, 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 bam. And I guess someone from Midnight Express jumped up in his lap, and he said they almost swerved off the road. Then he said, yeah, after that, he's like, they ended up going like 50 miles out of their way. Missed a turn off to where they were going. Ouch. Yeah. There's another story I was telling. I forget what it was.
Might as well. I mean, it's pretty late.
I forget what the other story was. Shit.
Yeah, if we're gonna do a part 3,
I don't think we're gonna do part 3 in.
It's gonna have to be done tomorrow or something.
There's another story. There's another story I was gonna tell, and I forget what it was. Not tired. It was just like had in mind, and it's like
Brain fart.
Yeah.
Long moment.
I was long when I was little.
Exactly. I'm sorry, just forgiving you.
I'm trying to think of a quick story. Well, there's one about Owen Hart that Brett said during his Hall of Fame speech. He was like, yeah, I would do this to you sometimes, just see if you fall for it. I know you'll forget after a while.
Yes, I do, actually.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, he goes, yeah, they were, for some pay-per-view, and he's like, yeah, Owen calls, and he's like, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we're from the hotel, and well, here's a free pizza on us. He's like, as the more the guy starts talking, the guy goes, yeah, well, if you want this on it, you've got, we're gonna have to charge you for it and stuff like that. And he said it was Owen, and then there was one where, need water?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's alright. But he said then there was one, I think he said it was for WrestleMania 4, when they had the tournament down in Jersey. And he's like, yeah, Brett's dad was in the bed in the hotel room with Brett, and the phone rings, and he goes, and he's like, someone called for Brett's dad? He's like, yeah, it's, so-and-so. And he said, and Brett's looking over, he's like, yeah, after a few minutes go by, he's like, I can tell my dad's getting agitated. Then Brett goes, then my dad goes, well, he goes, if you thought you could take me back then, why didn't you try me? And so he slams the phone down. He said, Brett looks over at his dad, just kind of shakes his head, and Stu looks up and goes, oh, bastard, Owen got me again. Then there was one where it's Jim Duggan. Owen was in, the lobby of the hotel, and Jim Duggan calls down to the lobby, wanting to know where the gym was, and I guess the guy didn't know where the gym was, the receptionist or whatever, and Owen goes, give me the phone, and he goes, Well, if you're looking, he says something to the effect of, if you're looking for the gym, why don't you go find it yourself, you big dumb idiot. And he hands him back the phone, and the guy at Owen's like, well, who was that? And then Owen goes, and the guy goes, before it's all said and done, Owen goes, Jim Powers. He wasn't Jim Powers. So he's going to come down looking for Jim Powers and beat the piss out of him.
Right.
I mean, it's just funny. Well, if you're looking for it, you'll find it yourself, you big dumb idiot. Who are you? Jim Powers. There was one story. We're probably touching on another podcast here. Like from one I've taken from another podcast, I should say.
You aired that already.
And I know probably multiple times. But it was Jimmy Hart, Earthquake, Bret Hart were on a plane, and this kid comes up, and I guess Earthquake had fallen asleep, and I guess he was red-eyed and stuff like that for being tired. And so the kid wanted an autograph, so he got one for Bret Hart and Jimmy Hart. And I guess the kid looked at Earthquake and he goes, what about him? And Earthquake's sitting there asleep. He goes, Bret goes, he's a teddy bear. So instead of the kid going like this, the kid slapped him on the forehead. And he said, oh my God. He's like, yeah, that kid's lucky that seatbelt was holding him in. Because he said he shot up and the seatbelt held him in. He's like, yeah. So, wow, if I would have seen that, I would be like, and click that.
Wow. Yeah, that's not a wise thing to do. Even if you're a little kid, you know, any better, still not wise.
But I mean, kids say the darndest things though. I mean, if you watch this year's Hall of Fame, that'll make you cry. Because they inducted that Connor. Yeah, and they're showing clips from him, and because he got the Warrior Award. Oh, that was sad.
I think you said you would cry multiple times.
Yeah, I did.
Well, because of
that and the Savage induction. Yeah, I mean, it's just fun. I mean, you have like the kid. He got pictures of like Big Show, Sheamus, Batista, and he was showing. There was a video of showing him hugging AJ Lee, and he goes, "Stop your craziness." And it's like, what? And it's like, wow. I mean, it's sad.
I mean, like, that craziness that AJ Lee's doing is just basically...
Right.
Like, for, you know...
It's just a
character as she has. I'm actually kind of sad she retired.
Yeah, a lot of people were... Which I kind of agree. I bet Punk had a lot to do with it. You know, well, I'm out... He's been gone a year and a half now, basically.
True.
And it's like, well... You know, I'm out... I skipped out. Why are you still there?
Right.
I mean, they are married, so.
True. Bastard.
Well, you know, Ambrose and Renee Young are together, too.
What?
Yeah.
Bastard.
Then, you know, Bellas and Brian and Cena are all dating. Well, not all dating, but
they're all together.
Yeah.
Brian and Nikki and
Brie and Cena. Yeah. I tried getting Cena to block me so many times on Twitter. It just doesn't happen.
Well, you actually have him on Twitter?
I've tried to get him to block me on Twitter. It just didn't happen.
Why don't you just defer to him?
I only think I follow him.
So how is he even getting yours?
He's not, unless I tweet at him. For some reason, Karen Jarrett and JBL blocked me.
Karen who?
Karen Jarrett.
Oh, Karen Jarrett.
No, I just think it's funny because I think I know the reason why JBL blocked me. Because there's a Diva match, and like the match sucked. So instead of them chanting something, they chanted JBL during the match. I was like, oh. So it looks something like So looks like when there's a shitty Divas match, it was like JBL's the go-to chant. Then I went to tweet him like right after that and said, "You've been blocked from at the request of the future." It's like, what did I do to him? And all of a sudden I went back. I was like, maybe. That could be.
As for Karen Jarrett, I don't know.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just sent like 10,500 tweets, so therefore it's like it could. I don't know.
Could have been one of them.
Could be here. Could be all the way down here. Yeah, somewhere down this area of tweets. I'm not gonna go through 10,500 tweets to find out what I tweeted her.
Right.
No.
So you basically were insulting John Cena and everything on the tweets then?
Yeah.
And yet he has yet to block you?
As far as I know.
I actually heard he's a bit of an ass.
Yeah, I've heard he's a douche too. Someone I had seen read online. Someone from NXT. Well, maybe I don't think. Maybe it was OVW. And someone who was working at OVW. His son or nephew or some relation to him had cancer or something, and the guy went around and was like, he explained, hey, this family member of mine, a little kid, has cancer or something like that, or leukemia or something, and he's like, can I get you to sign this poster? It'll brighten his day. Wanted to see him happy. Took it to Cena, and I guess he kind of scuffed off. And he goes, "You're just gonna sell it on eBay or something like that." Then I guess Cena went to whoever it was in charge there. Next day, the guy came in with that little boy. It was, I guess, I don't know if it was just one of those things where, the kid wanted to thank him, or if it was just like a favor, like, well, here, have a surprise for you, And I guess the guy who was there with the little boy said, "Hey, John," and he kind of said, "Yeah. Is this like I'm going to sell it on eBay to you?" And I guess she kind of walked away. And him being like the merchandise sales for him being the highest sticks. Want to know how that is? Okay, how many times a year does he have a new shirt? Couple times a year, right? Probably.
Multiple times, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even Rock called him Fruity Pebbles.
Right. It always seems like, all right, I'm wearing a Ninja Turtle shirt right now, obviously. They're like my favorite, well, they're not really super heroes as in like compared to like Batman, Spider-Man, but they're my favorite heroes, basically. Now, Cena, it was like, if you take this same Ninja Turtle iron-on, whatever's on the shirt, whatever you want to call it, then say you have it green, then you release a purple one for Donatello, orange for Michelangelo, blue for Leo, red for Raph. That would be 5 shirts, right? But it's the same, basically, iron-on, but just a different color shirt. They pretty much do that for Cena, right? It's like the thing, whatever's on his shirt is pretty much similar to every other shirt he has. But there's like 4 or 5 different colors. Okay, so now, take someone like Zack Ryder, who's lucky to have maybe like 1 shirt ever.
Yeah, considering, the downfall from being Edge's.
Well, you know what the term over means?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Pretty sure I know what it is.
Well, tell me.
No.
No, because you don't know. Over means your crowd response. Over is like your cheers, basically. Ryder got over by himself because of YouTube and social media. It wasn't because of WWE. He done it on his own. Now, like someone with Ambrose, who's cheered, WWE pretty much got him over. And over basically means your pops, your crowd response. And so say Cena has 10 shirts at like every WWE event, and say they have 10 different colors for those 10 shirts. Okay, so they have 10 shirts of every color that he has out. So I'm just using 10 as an example, so it'll be 100. So Cena technically would have 10 different shirts, a variety of 10 different shirts. Now, take like Zack Ryder. He only has like one shirt out. Just say he only has one shirt. They're only going to send 10 shirts to Zack Ryder too. Well, Raw's going to be in Indy sometime this month, I think. Okay, say it's at Indy Raw. They send 10 Zack Ryder shirts. That's it. Once they sell those 10 shirts, they're sold out. But if they have 100 Cena shirts, of course he's going to be a top grade merchandise seller because he has 100 shirts there, but he has a variety of 10 different shirts there. He has 90 more shirts there than Ryder does. So it's weighed. So it'd be like, all right, well, I have $100, you have 10. So it's an inside job basically. Well, here's what we're gonna do. You have 10 shirts, I have one. We're gonna send you 100 shirts, but we're only gonna send you 10 of his. So therefore, it's gonna make you look like you're our highest grossing merchandise seller because we want you to be, not because everyone, half the crowd boos you and half cheers you. We want you to do that. So therefore, we're stacking the deck in your favor.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, Zack Ryder did, last somewhat longer than the other guy. What was the other guy saying?
Kurt Hawkins?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing independence now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like Zack Ryder,
right.
Lasted in the company a little longer than Kurt Hawkins. Which is kind of surprising.
But it's just I just hate that because it's like, okay, you know that if they regularly released shirts for everyone else, say Cena has 3 shirts a year, why not have everyone else have 3 shirts a year? It's like then maybe after a year, say, all right, well, you didn't sell that many shirts. This guy, sold 1,000 more than you. If you can level it off as everyone being like pretty well even, things would be a lot better. But no, it's just like between us, we're sending 100 shirts a year, like 2 of his. So that way, it's like, oh,
that's like,
yeah. So it makes it look good on paper when it's really them doing it themselves. They're purposely sending 3 shirts of this guy, but 1,000 of yours.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, of course you're gonna be like the top seller.
Yeah.
Because they're shipping your product, 1,000 times more than just everyone else.
Right.
So
we should probably cut up here because it's only like 50 minutes, and if you have that,
yeah, I'll post this real quick. But anyways, WrestleRage Cast will be back eventually. Progressing us into. We'll see you soon.
Yep.